What's up? What's up? What is up? It's another Friday, another opportunity to get together and record the experience known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. It has been a phenomenal last few weeks as we transition into summer, getting better weather, better temperatures in spring and vacation. And as such, we took a 2 week hiatus, but we back. We are in the building. We've got an amazing show for you. When I tell you amazing, I'm talking about amazing show for you. We are excited about how sports, business, entertainment also include the judicial process today. So stay tuned. I promise you, we're going to throw a curveball at you. It's going to be an amazing show. It's going to be where sports, business, entertainment collide. It's going to be rough, rugged, and raw. It's going to be the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Fasten your seatbelt. Make sure that you pour one of those large mugs of coffee. Spike it with whatever you want to spike it with.
It's Friday. Pour what you like.
Pour
No
what you like.
judgment.
We're taking the gloves off today. Guilty as charged episode coming to you. So make sure you're ready. Make sure you call somebody, actually, before we even get started. It ain't going to cost you nothing to like, comment, share, tag somebody. Because this episode is going to go down as one for the ages. With no further ado, boys and girls, dogs and frogs, cats and rats, let's get ready to rumble. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ. A.K.A. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, so come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go. Once again it's on. I get to be in front of this microphone on another Friday, man. The temperatures are changing, it's getting warm, and I have in my company, I have at my disposal the man, the myth, the legend, thou shall be intergalactically known and respected as. Say it with your chest. The Big Flow shows in the building. What's up, my brother?
What's good, America? What's good? Happy to see you today. It's been a couple weeks. I've had a lot to say. Unfortunately, my dog and my wife and my kids have had to hear all I had to say because I haven't been able to share it with America.
And they weren't listening to you.
I'm gonna have a good release. Nobody listen to me. I've been looking for comments every time I talk to the kids or the dog. I look on the bottom and see if I see some comments. I look off and I don't see nothing. They just ignore me. So, what I'm gonna do now. Anyway, I'm back, man. America. I had a couple people ask me if we're doing the show. We've been taking a break. I love it. I love it to hear that we're missed. I love it to hear that people are anticipating the next show. I love to see that people want to start off their Friday, listen to us talk. We love you. We love the fans and want to hear more from you. So everybody who's watching out there, drop a pin, drop a shout out. Give us a little comment.
Baby. What's up, Brian Hall? He says free Maya. Maya is always friend to the show. She's always a part of the show. Even when she on the show, she's part
Give us free.
Give us free. Maya's our people.
Nobody contains Maya. That's for fact. Nobody.
Shout out to my girl if she is listening. This particular episode, Guilty as Charged. This particular episode of Sports Business Entertainment, this particular time in history is remarkable. There was a proceeding that occurred recently. There was a pause in all of American judiciary respect and reverence. It all took pause this week. And it did so because of a very simple but meaningful hearing. When I show you this picture, When I show you this picture, what do you think? It is the center of all judiciary hearings. This gentleman in Michigan, we want to put him center stage, y'all. This is the face. And I don't want to use stupid. My mom said you ain't got something nice because they don't say nothing at all. For those of you who don't
everybody,
know,
put it on mute because Mama don't listen to this.
This particular gentleman was on a virtual hearing where he was dealing with some traffic issues, specifically a suspended license. He decided to call in by way of Zoom, which I think was his right to do so. But while doing it, he was driving. And I felt as though it was a moment. Here's this black judge in Michigan dealing with this black defendant who is wrestling with suspended license. Now, let me just be clear, because I don't want to make it such that I minimize it. A lot of people are dealing with traffic issues because of this compounding effect and the money that it takes to get the license right. A lot of people can't do things like, as this gentleman was trying to do, go to the doctor. So I don't want to oversimplify it. But he has now become the face of stupidity in this country. He's now become the face of what not to do when trying to call in to a hearing virtually. And I just wanted to use him as the backdrop to guilty as charged. Because if you are facing a hearing of driving on a suspended license and you call in while driving, and you acknowledge that you are driving, and you say, I'm almost there, I'm pulling up to my doctor, you have now essentially given the judge all that he needs in order to say guilty as charged.
And to make it worse, while he's driving, he's looking at the Zoom. That's a new ticket. That's a new ticket. You're not supposed to Zoom while driving. It may not be in the books that way, written as such, but distracted driving probably would encompass everything you're doing. This man is driving down the street. I just knew he wasn't in court for. When I saw the video start, I'm like, this dude's gonna get in trouble. He's texting while he's driving. I don't know what he's in court for. And when the guy said, wait a minute, the judge said, isn't he here for suspended license? Turn yourself in. You go to jail. Turn yourself in 5 o'clock, or we're gonna put a warrant out for your arrest.
Or a bench warrant out for your arrest. A lot of people deal with municipal court stuff, so go ahead.
All right, when I turn myself in at 5, can y'all validate my parking? That'd have been the only thing to make that thing right.
I think I would have had to deny it. I'd be like, nah, somebody else is driving me. They're like, put the camera on them. No, they don't like to be on camera or something. Or don't use the camera function.
Turn the camera off.
Just turn the camera off.
See, my dog, hey, somebody's pulling me in. They dropping me off here real quick. I should be good. Jump in the passenger seat and then pick it up.
And then do something. But he has become the face of stupidity. So when I send you this, just know that you want to make sure that you take care and how you navigate judicial process.
Is that gonna go in the archives like with the Jordan cry face? When somebody do something stupid, you just send them this picture right here?
Yes.
Then look, I think I nominate him.
Yes.
Donkey of the day. I'm sorry to steal from other people. Donkey of the day.
But his donkey of the day moment comes in a week that we deal with other donkey of the days when it comes to judicial processes. I love this face. This was the exact moment when he realized that he didn't effed up, because the judge at this point says you gotta turn yourself in and do so by 6 p.m. And this is look on his face when he does so. But I wanted to start there lightheartedly because the entire country yesterday dealt with a different case, and we'll get to that at the very end. So stick with us. But guilty as charged, as we're dealing with this criminal case, this high-profile criminal case. Guilty is charged is the name of this episode because it's the backdrop to how sports, business, and entertainment was conducted this week. There was a referendum on whether or not European players have completely taken over the league. And that referendum was challenged when the Minnesota T-Wolves took on the Denver Nuggets and sent the Joker, two-time MVP, back-to-back, sent him home. And now you got this next case. The next case was when you have Dallas coming to town. Dallas is the lower seed. They're a 5th seed. Everybody is saying Ant-Man is the heir apparent. He is Michael Jordan reincarnated. And I gave him the same kudos because of just how bad that man was throughout the playoffs. But now you've got this new case of Dallas Mavericks versus the Minnesota T-Wolves. And I'm going to say there's a few people guilty as charged. You charged Karl Anthony Towns for being, what was the charge?
Moist.
Explain that to those in the courtroom who might not understand exactly what that means. They might think that it's a rainfall.
If something was moist, would you ever rely on it for structure or toughness? Huh? Anything that's moist is going to be pliable.
Soft.
Not typically won't hold up well.
Let's say this though. He did play well in games 4 and 5. Not well. He played well in games 4 and 5. He played well in game 4 and 5. That's all I'm saying.
His 3 dropped. Still moist basketball. Do you consider Klay Thompson to be tough?
I think Klay Thompson makes tough shots. Do I consider him to be someone I would walk through a dark alley with at night, depending on the neighborhood? Hell to the no. Unless it's Mayberry or
unless it's going to be Karl Anthony Towns coming down the other side, and you think Klay is all you need. Yeah, y'all good.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not tough. But Karl Anthony Towns,
he don't want to drive to the basket. I've never seen a 7-footer get his shot blocked.
He called himself the best long distance shooter, the best shooter of all time when it comes to big men. He never said he was going to block shots. He never said he was going to be a presence on the low block. He never said he was a front court juggernaut. He called himself the best shooting big man in NBA history. Now, the first 3 games, that shot wasn't falling. So he looked like a buffoon, and he was guilty as charged in terms of
is Dirk Nowitzki a better shooter than him?
I mean, Dirk, I think, is the beginning of
is KD not a big man just because he's
tall, small forwards. I wouldn't call him a big man. He's not a power forward. He's not a center. I wouldn't call Dirk
big man. Okay, we tall. Okay, how tall is big man? How tall is
KD's tall. KD's not a big man. He's guard.
He's still big.
He's tall.
He's 7 foot. He's the same size as Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns meant big man as in front court, power forward, or center.
Soft. He just learned how to shoot when he got the NBA, and I give him all the credit in the world for that, man. But bully somebody. Stop getting your shot blocked every time you go back up, man. The guy's jumping up, blocking his shot twice in one thing, crying for foul. And what is it with the NBA that every time somebody goes to the lane, they have to fall on the ground? Nobody can land on their feet anymore. Or they're trying to save their ankle. Am I missing something? Everybody's going all tough to the and fall on the ground, and they cry for the foul. Don't say nothing about LeBron today. I don't hear nothing about LeBron.
I'm just saying. You said the L word.
I brought it up. I'm 8-miling you. Don't bring that shit up.
8-mile. You be preemptive.
The only thing I'm gonna say about my man LeBron, I'm gonna get off of him. He lost to a team that lost to a team that lost to a team that's not favored to win the championship.
The domino effect in there is real stinking. It's real stinking. That's not Glass Barks.
When you get beat early in the first round, you want that team to win the whole championship.
Look at Glass Barks' comment. Says you need to add some extra words every time you say moist. Glass Bar, that's funny.
No.
And he also talks about Maya. Y'all can't. Hey, my girl Maya's always gonna be my girl. Maya's on here today. What's up, Miss Maya? Miss Maya.
Y'all come on and talk about her.
Yeah, somebody got Maya could never, would never, and shall never be fired from anything. That's our girl, always will be. Let's get back to topic, though. I'm getting off topic. Because when it comes to the case of Karl Anthony Towns, is he guilty as charged as being the softest big man? He tried to call himself the best big man shooter of all time. He tried to put himself in the equation for a distinctive superlative amongst big men. And I do have to acknowledge that game 4 and 5, he played better. Game 4, he fouled out. Game 5, he didn't have a single foul. I have an issue with that. To be in the front court, you don't have a single foul. But I digress. in the case of Karl Anthony Towns being the softest big man that we done seen, and he's a New Jerseyan, so I feel bad putting him on Front Street, but the case is what it is. I'm giving you my prudent jurist. You get to decide whether or not this man is guilty as charged. What say you, Big Flo Show? And make sure you give evidence of said verdict.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put Maya on the screen. And I'm gonna disagree with Maya, but she's part of my argument, right? I don't think. I mean, they brought in Rudy Gobert to alleviate some of the tension in the paint from him, right? And he still finds a way to be soft. I don't think Rudy Gobert is soft. I just think he's sorry. You know what I mean? There's a difference. Rudy Gobert be trying. He just doesn't have a bag. I mean, that dude got a clutch. He does not have a bag. He's down there. Sometimes he looks so ill-prepared underneath the basket when he gets the ball, and then he'll hit like a crazy shot. But it's not that he's soft. He's just sorry, man.
But they didn't bring him in for that side of the court.
You're correct. You're correct. That's what I'm saying. But I think Maya's confusing softness with sorry. You know what I mean? But he's supposed to be down there. He'll get you a little dunk every once in a while. You know, he'll come in there and try to go. He'll go up hard. He's just not very good offensively. He's just not talented.
They brought him in.
But you bring in another 7-footer to come out here and bang. He'll try to get some rebounds. Rudy will get there. And Karl just disappoint me, man. I mean, when you hit your threes, you're fine. But nobody get you for all that, man. They drafted you. They hit threes when you came out of college. That's not why they drafted you. Now
I think it's his 8th or 9th year, and he's been there with Minnesota, done very well, gone through a few iterations of superstars. He was their first pick in that year. But you're saying that because now the next thing is this. We're going to get to Rudy Gobert, and Ant-Man says we're going to get to Ant-Man, and then we're going to get to Ant-Man's proclamation. And he says, we going to be back. We're going to be back. And other than slow-mo, I don't think they really have any free agents of concern.
Oh, I saw this video of a robot shooting a three. They said that was slow-mo shooting a wide open three. He stopped.
They took a week.
Jesus Christ. And still kind of was, you know what I mean? They still had some competitiveness in there.
So let's get to Rudy then. Let's get to Rudy. Because now the referendum is on Rudy. Rudy Gobert, in what was the most pivotal game, game 2, Dallas is losing by 18 points. They go on a tear. It comes down to the last possession in Minnesota. Rudy Gobert, who I think now this is his 4th time winning Defensive Player of the Year. So he's in rare air in terms of that award. Rudy Gobert on the switch has to defend Luka. And let's just say it didn't go very well.
Luka put him in the blender.
Luka
even joked about it afterwards. And he was just like, look, hey, Luka said, I kind of like how Luka talks shit because, you know, his accent makes you think you're not going to get what you want to get. But he's fully fluent in shit talking. But he's like,
oh, that case is coming too. Is he the best shit talker of all time? That's coming too. That case is coming too.
I'm not there. I'm not ready for that. But he's pretty good. He's a 5-star. He's like, hey, I'm pretty slow, but I know I'm faster than him. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
When we see Rudy Gobert switch out, game on the line, I think everybody is holding their breath, clutching their pearls. They know it's about to happen. And beyond any wildest dream, beyond our imagination, beyond anything that we could possibly fathom, Luka outdoes all of that and makes him look like a damn fool. So on the docket is this case, simple and plain. Did Rudy Gobert, and I don't want to call it armed because voters had the right to not give it to him, but it did feel like robbery. Did Rudy Gobert steal the Defensive Player of the Year award, whether it be from Wemby or somebody else? You know, they act like guards can't get Defensive Player of the Year.
They didn't think that when Jordan was out there, but okay, that's different. I think Rudy Gobert stole it. I think Rudy Gobert is a very good post defender. You know, he's a rim protector. He does whatever. He can't step out and cover. I think AD, who had better stats than him, does a lot better for you away from the basket. He can come further than he can. Wemby, I didn't see enough of it, so I don't want to make a comment, but statistically, Wemby was better than him in every category. So I don't know. To have Rudy cover at the perimeter, any big like that at the perimeter is kind of not fair. But what's weird is I think Karl Anthony Towns would have done a better job covering at the perimeter than Rudy when it came down to the last shot, as soft as he is. But he definitely moves his feet better.
I got it. Come on. Objection, Your Honor.
On that play,
Karl Anthony Towns?
I think he's more mobile than Rudy Gobert.
I don't think so. He got what did our infamous Congresswoman call Marjorie Green Taylor?
I don't know. I missed this one.
Blonde, bad body, butch
built.
Karl Anthony Towns is all those things other than blonde. Bleach.
He's more mobile than Rudy Gobert.
Man, he's a bad body, butch built. That dude is top heavy, man. He can't defend.
He's sorry. He is sorry. It pissed me off. I wanted him to win. He's sorry. I'm mad.
I was with you until you said Karl Anthony Towns would have defended.
All I'm saying is Rudy Gobert, it's not his fault. He shouldn't have been put in that position. He probably shouldn't have been in the game knowing that a 3 beat you. Let them get the 2, force the 2, or kept his ass in the paint. But to let them just easily get the switch and then just isolate, not double team, make somebody else beat you. You don't want Luka, you don't want Kyrie shooting a 3 at that point in the game. It's just basketball 1-on-1. Make someone else shoot the 3, make someone else beat you, or make them bang it down low. But you got Rudy isolated up there like that. He over there doing the cha-cha dance and stuff like that. He's dipping in and dipping out, making him look all stupid.
Make him bang down low. You got a few pauses outstanding, bro. Pause.
Yeah, you know what? Though? Y'all too sensitive. Y'all can't, man. Look,
down low.
I'm not worried about that stuff.
My man Gene says same thing would have happened to Wemby. Wemby switches out. Luka got the ball down 1 point. Is Wemby in the blenders? Because defensive player of the year to me is supposed to be someone that's a formidable opponent in that moment. Defensive player of the year is a big that can switch out and at least have a contested shot. That was a wide open step back 3 after Rudy did the cha-cha
I'm not giving
slide.
none of those candidates we talked about that because I saw what what's his name did to, but maybe the height difference would have helped him a little bit. But I seen the way AD got did by the Joker. He was making jumpers so bad. AD just had to shake his head. Now Joker's taller than him. Who you think's a better shooter, Joker or Luka?
A better shooter from 3, Luka.
You said that like his hands down. You don't think it's close?
I think Joker is able to get his shot from beyond the arc because he's so deadly from within the arc. Whereas Luka's shot is whatever he wants it to be. Those are the differences.
I'm gonna have to go to the Google.
Yeah, I mean, if Google tells you percentage wise, they're gonna tell you percentage wise. But Luka's shooting far more 3s, probably I would imagine, than the Joker. But neither here nor there. Finish your thought as you look at it.
I don't think it. I think you probably needed to put somebody who was smaller than him on there just to mess with his dribble and stay with him. At the end of the day, he's big enough and he's got a nice enough jumper. He's a hit or miss, but he was kind of broke yesterday at the end, shooting 3s. I don't know if he was tired, but he was shooting them short. I think you had to bring a double team to him, and come around to him. Don't let him be comfortable. But he shouldn't have had the shot off. I don't blame that on Rudy Gobert. He tried to DM, but he just didn't know the song, the dance they were doing.
It was like them parties got the different headphones. He was on the wrong station. He had the green headphones, not the blue one. Well, let me go here then, because there's another teammate that was not on that play defensively, but did get all the credit going into the series. We were calling Ant-Man the heir apparent. We were saying it was Jordan's son. He was the spawn. He was the offspring of Michael Jordan. And I jumped on that bandwagon. I was willing to bet that they were going to win the series and win the championship. And I was wrong. So now that we in court, the docket also asked us to deal with the case of fandom, of recency bias, of jumping on the bandwagon and to really try to somehow adjudicate the case of whether or not Ant-Man fooled us all. Is he guilty of his charge being fraudulent when it comes to being the heir apparent? Now, granted, he's 22 years old. This is his 4th year. He was the #1 pick. He had all of the same pressures. I won't say all the same pressures, a lesser degree. But coming out of Georgia as the #1 pick, and I'm going to use the L word, and then with all the early success, he's in the same realm as a LeBron when it comes to the pressures that were bestowed upon him and the expectations. I feel as though he has exceeded those expectations. Having said that, there was a new set of expectations put upon him going into the Western Conference Finals. There's a new set of expectations put upon him when he was largely the catalyst behind sending KD home in 1, 2, 3, 4. Go home, dog. Sending Luka, the 2-time MVP, back-to-back MVP, home in 7. The 7th game being the most electrifying on the road, coming back from down 18 points. So with all of that being said, there's a new set of expectations. Do we feel as though Ant-Man came up short and fraudulently put himself out there as the heir apparent of MJ?
I think fraud is real strong. Fraud is bad because fraud just means he's not him. He's not going to be him. And I think when you talk about the heir apparent, to say he's not going to be him is too early. I'll say he's not him yet. I would say that he's got talent. He's got to have a different mental approach to the game. He gets caught up in traffic too much and comes up short. Like, you know, it actually was worse watching him. I never really appreciated Kyrie until I rooted against him. And I rooted for Minnesota in this series. And Kyrie let me realize what a real hooper looked like. And I feel like Ant-Man is not Kyrie by any stretch. He's just more of an athlete. He can jump high. He can do whatever. He can shoot. He just doesn't put it together in an effective way consistently enough for me to say he's there. If he becomes the man in 3 or 4 years, I'm not going to be surprised. He just has a lot of work to do. I think this is a very talented NBA, very talented league. He's not Ja Morant.
What you mean?
I mean, Ja Morant drives to that lane. It could be 10 of them in there, and Ja Morant got a really good chance to do it. Ant-Man doesn't.
So you think Ant-Man is less than Ja Morant when it comes to finishing in the paint?
At this point in his career, yes. He's got some great dunks. Not better than Ja's. I mean, you don't think he has better dunks than Ja Morant, do you? I mean, he's got a couple. I
absolutely feel like he's got better dunks than Ja Morant. And I love Ja Morant's dunks, so I hate even being in that position.
Did he dunk the ball yesterday? Have you ever seen a game where Ja Morant didn't dunk the ball nasty? One game. Never. I can think of 1 or 2 dunks in this series that he had that were nasty.
A lot of Ja Morant's dunks come from leak outs, right? He gets fast break dunks.
Cheating.
So not cheating. I don't say cheating.
Drives.
Putbacks, he has a lot of them. He has a lot of putbacks, right? But even a putback from a smaller guard, that's normally a backside. You sneak in and you get a putback. Ant-Man's dunks are a lot of times as the primary ball handler. He's the primary ball handler going to the basket, coming downhill. There's a big man like Joker coming over, or a 7-footer like KD, who is officially put in a position to get out the way. I like Ant-Man's finishes better than anybody in the league right now, including Ja Morant. Slightly better than Ja Morant, because I like Ja Morant. I hate to be in the position, but Ant-Man's finishes are next level. They're next level.
Do you think his finishes in this series were better than I could name until we only got a couple hours. I can name all day who's been finishing better. You think his finishes in this series were anywhere near Kyrie's? Anywhere near him in the same solar system as Kyrie's?
I'm talking about from an explosive standpoint.
Yeah, he's got some fancy dunks. That's good. He had one. He has one that I can think of in the 6 games, the 5 games that they played. One nasty.
That's why they lost, right? I mean, I think
my point is, I'm not seeing it yet that he's there. Does he have the ability? Does he have the talent? Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, accomplishments and doing what he's got to go do. And maybe I'm not giving him enough credit because I just watched the playoff version of him. His threes, he had a couple threes yesterday, was decent, but he's off. He's passing off. He's avoiding shots that he shouldn't be avoiding. He's not taking over. I see so many times
he still went like 10 for 18. Yeah, he had like 28, 29 points last night. He still had a good game. I agree with you. He was passing. So let's just say it what it is. You said fraud was a strong word. So let's change that.
Fraud is
in terms of a contractual misrepresentation, because there was a contract, if you will, with the public, myself included, when we jumped on the bandwagon. We were coming with some expectations. I had expectations when I put my chin all out there in the middle of the street and said the Minnesota T-Wolves were going to win the Western Conference Final and go on to win the championship. Those expectations were based on some representations that my man Ant-Man made. So is he guilty of at least misrepresenting himself going into the Western Conference Finals, or did he just run out of gas? Because I think KG had a good take. He talked about him not being in this position before, not knowing how to play through what is fatigue of the playoffs. But having said that, they still came up short. Is he guilty of misrepresenting what he could do?
I think yes. I'll give him that. He's guilty on that. I think it's a first offense. So we're gonna have a light sentence. It's a first offense. I don't want to come across too hard on the man. I disagree with you that he came in with the fanfare of LeBron. I think he was the number one player, but I think he came in and shocked people.
LeBron is different stratosphere. So LeBron came in more fanfare than Michael Jordan.
Wemby, all these dudes came in here. I think Ant-Man came in. He was good. Everyone liked him, but it wasn't like he just came off an NCAA champion. A lot, because he went to Georgia. I still think he was underknown, not unknown, but underknown than he would have been had he came from the Blue Bloods. He came from a basketball program that doesn't produce anybody that you would ever hear of. So I think he came into the league. People think he's good, but I think he's actually done better than people thought he was going to do. Coming in there, but I just don't.
Sounds like you said not guilty then, because I'm saying he's guilty of misrepresentation.
I had to go back to some of your previous comments, and we'll get to that. But I just think he is guilty of, I liked his moxie when he told people at Denver, "I will be back for see you game 7." I like that. You know what I mean? He got a little moxie and he came out and he balled, but he disappears for stretches, and that's the part of it that has me a little bit. He's just not there yet. I think he's got the talent, but he's not there yet.
Are you willing to invest before we move on?
I'll invest. I'll buy the stock now.
You're going to buy the stock now? Because the truth is, if you look at him at 22 years old, Michael Jordan took a long time to get to where he was at, but Michael Jordan never disappeared. Even in the early years when he's getting his ass whooped, he was scoring 40 points. He shot too much. You look at the Garden when he scored 63 against Bird in his rookie year. Like there are some moments where you look at it like, yo, man, I don't know if Ant-Man is quite there. Kobe Bryant was playing off the bench. We all remember the 2 air balls that were sort of the things that really got him going, because everyone pointed out to the air ball. He's got 2 air ball shots in a crucial game, in a crucial moment, and that ended up being the fuel to his fire because he loved having something to fight towards. Is Ant-Man on that trajectory at 22 years old?
Another thing, Ant-Man.
I was calling him face of the league. I said before this series, he's officially the new face of the league. Ja Morant squandered his opportunity. He shot it in the foot, pun intended. And now I felt like Ant-Man was in perfect position to be the face of the league. Are we comfortable saying that after watching this series? Because he did knock down KD and the Suns. Get out of here. He did take the defending champs, 2-time MVP. Get out of here. Back to back, get out of here. Beat him in Denver. What do we say, man? You get the last call on the verdict?
I think it's coming. Right now, they got the face of the league. They're trying to keep it on the Joker. Luka. The thing about the league now, and the thing I love about the league, I mean, if you take a step back, and I'm not trying to avoid the answer, but if you take a step back at how many stars are in the league now, how many bona fide stars, monsters are in the league compared to years past. There's a lot. I mean, the fact that they're even in the Dallas is in the finals is like what? You know what I mean? The West is considered so strong, and now the Celtics, the Celtics were supposedly winning the easy side of the bracket, and now the Celtics are the favorite. But I'm just saying, look at the movement. Look at the fact that you have, Golden State, the Suns, and the Lakers eliminated in the first round. And there's
who was the last team you said? Never heard of them.
And then they have all these, and then there's still so much great basketball gets played. You lose those three teams that you think have the goons of the league, and they're out of there. And when did Embiid go out? First round or second round?
Embiid was first round, but he was hurt.
Okay, but I'm saying you taking these goons are coming out. They're not in there. Yeah. Jimmy Buckets out. Everybody out of the playoffs. All these people not playing, and you still full of goons, full of studs out there. Great basketball, great playoffs. We don't have to throw it. Could you imagine if Jordan, Bird, Isaiah, Magic lose in the first round? Nobody would watch those games. Who was left? You know what I mean?
I do feel like, but you mentioned an era that I sort of remember the last time this happened. And it felt like, that's why I like hearing KG talk about it, because it felt like when the KG era began, and really took off, was when the MJ era ended. There was a little overlap there with Kobe, right? Mm-hmm. They had their run-ins, but Kobe was getting towards the end. Yeah. And then all of a sudden there's this new group of superstars that ascended that quickly got into the hands of LeBron. But very fair point. Let's get into the finals. Let's get into the finals, man. I like this comment right there. He says, Ant-Man, what up, Cornelius? I don't recognize that name. So if this is your first time, thank you for tuning in to the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. Appreciate you, bro. He says, Ant-Man faded a little bit, and it showed mostly that he and Cat are young, and their bench was trash, politely stated. This isn't majority Ant's fault at all. I'll agree with that. Not the majority.
I'll give more to KT. Cat should have been. Cat should be the leader of that team, and he's not. He should be.
Whoa. Why?
Huh?
Because he's older? Why? Why should
Cat? He's been there longer. I mean, when Kobe was young, who led that team? Shaq.
Fair. I'll give you that.
You know who gets not nearly enough credit? Who's a goon, and I don't even know why he's a goon.
You talking about me, man? You ain't got to talk about me this morning, bro. Besides me? Who else?
That was already well established. I don't remember his name. Number 11. He's a goon.
Number 11
with the ugliest set shot 3 on the team on Minnesota. He kept them in that. He kept that thing competitive by itself.
Who you talking about? Number 11.
With the dreads that start like right here.
Oh, I don't even know who that is, man.
I'm telling you, that's terrible. He was like 7 for 8 for threes in one game.
You messed me up with the number. I like light skinned dude. Dreads could have helped me. Oh! You talking about the defender?
He's an offensive monster.
Yeah, he had a very
his jumpers. He's the ugliest 3-point shot. I'm not gonna say he's Sean Marion, but like he doesn't even jump when he shoots his 3. It's like a free throw. Butters though, and then he dunks on you. He'll dunk on you in there. I love that dude, man. I don't even remember his name. Nas Reed.
He's a New Jerseyan as well. So
he seemed awkward. Like his game seemed awkward, but he'll spin and bow. Like
I mean, he was a part of that whole jelly fan thing. The big jelly was what they call him. I'm pretty certain he's a McDonald's All-American. Went to LSU, came out freshman year, and because of work ethic questions, ended up either going undrafted or late second round. But Nas Reed, 6th man of the year, and is about to get paid. I think that's what you have to do in order
without him to get blown out in every game. Without him,
every game. Yeah, Nas Reed was a problem all season, but especially in the playoffs.
Goodness, the playoffs. But he's awkward. That's the thing. He's got that awkward game that you're like, ish.
A big man with finesse. Let's go to the finals now, because you mentioned that the Celtics are the favorite. So when it comes to the case of the finals, we've got Dallas going to Boston. Boston has the home court advantage. But Vegas, the odds as of last night, the Celtics open up as a negative 225 favorite, which means you've got to bet $225 to win $100. They had the Mavs as a plus 185 underdog. Vegas don't play around, baby. They try to win at all costs.
Gap.
And the moral of the story is Vegas is a cold piece of work. They have plus 185. And then they have what I thought was interesting in terms of the MVP odds. They have Tatum as the favorite as a negative 130, which means you got to bet $130 to win 100. They have Doncic, Luka, second as a plus 200. They've got Jaylen Brown, third as a plus 600 odd to win the MVP. And fourth, which has me about to violate all the rules, all the principles I've lived by for over 30 years. I'm not gambling. I'm just not doing it because of that night in 1997. close to 30 years. In 1997, I lost all my money messing with that weed eater, pull-on weed eater, Independence Bowl. Lost all my money on that gambling boat, and I ain't gambled since. But these odds, plus 2,400 on Kyrie winning the MVP. If I'm ever going to come out of retirement, because I got to go in my kids' high school money in order to get this.
Let me get that piggy bank, boy. You don't need this piggy bank. You get too old for a piggy bank.
Boy, turn your head. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Look that way. I'm about ready to tell my son, look that way. I'm going in the bank.
I'm going to teach you about investments. I'm going to teach you about return on investment.
And here's why. Kyrie, with all things to prove, with the biggest chip on his shoulder, playing twice to start the series in a city that has been at least alleged on this day of looking through different cases on the docket. Boston has been alleged of being quite racist. You give Kyrie all the ammo with a hell of a Batman where he can play Robin. I don't think Dallas wins without Kyrie being the MVP. I might be going in my piggy bank. You heard the odds. What say you? The odds.
I bet it. We talked about it this morning. I bet it before we were done with our pregame. I already put the bet. I put 100 on, so I had to hedge the bet.
Good.
I just need to make sure Tatum don't do it. So I put 100 on Luka.
Mm-hmm.
I put 50 on Kyrie.
Okay.
And I put 50 on your boy.
You gotta make some sort of disclaimer, legal disclaimer. As your counsel, make some legal disclaimer now about
this
don't
is
bet.
Not legal advice. This is not betting advice. This is just what I did. And then I put Brown. I put 50 on Brown. I figured the math, if the math's right, as long as Tatum doesn't win it, I'm straight. Tatum win it, I lost all my money. But I feel like I'm at least at break even. But you know what though? The reason why, as I think about it, as my money marinates, I think that the Kyrie's bet's a sucker bet. I think if Kyrie's averages 50 points a game, they hate him so much they still not gonna give it to him. They probably say they'll never give it to him.
So let's start there before we get. Let's go quickly through the odds. Do you like the Vegas's odds? Dallas being the underdog, the Celtics being the favorite. Going into
I like the odds only because I just put some money on Dallas because I think Dallas is going to win. I think the Celtics can trick it off.
The MVP odds. You think Vegas got that right? Because Vegas tends to know things about like the political ecosystem that exists beyond just what we see on TV.
I mean, you had to give Luka some plus money because they're not favored to win. But I would say that him and Tatum are the two front runners, which is the way that they are. So I guess it's right, but I would think Tatum would probably give you worse odds because he's if you think they're gonna win as confidently as you think they're gonna win, he's probably gonna be their MVP. So it looks like that way, but you never know, man. I saw when what's his name got the MVP.
Andre
Iguodala. That's
Iguodala.
terrible that you knew the hell I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
Of
because that's
all the
one of the ones.
MVPs, you went right to the dude I'm talking about. When he
Mhm.
won it, I realized anybody could get it. They'll give it to you if they think
give
you
it to
did
you.
something. They'll
Yeah.
give it to you. Did he even
Somebody
start?
on the winning team's got to get it.
Someone's got to get it. So
All right,
I like the odds. I'm happy with that. Just
all right,
as long as
so
Tatum don't get it. Tatum might miss a game in there. He can be he can be gotten to. He might get hard fouled and miss a game.
All right, so before we get to Kyrie, that's the last piece of this. We got to deal with this case, this municipal court case. It's not as though it's going. We in small claims court. This ain't nothing serious. It's not district court. It's not federal court. This ain't at the appellate level. This is a introductory small claim court case. But we gotta ask because Jason Tatum, when it comes to the case of Jason Tatum, he's come up really small in big moments. He has come up with what people might present as some real light-skinnedness. He got the finger waves. He got all the things that are thrown in to the evidence pile when you're looking at somebody acting real light-skinned in it, and I don't mean that in no good way. Amongst friends, amongst family, we can talk like this. I can talk to you about it because you're my light-skinned friend. Is Jason Tatum, in the case of Jason Tatum, is he going to have light-skinned tendencies, man, and come up small in the biggest moment of what is his short but meaningful to date NBA career? What say you?
I tend to have faith in light-skinned brothers. I don't know why. I tend to have faith in them more than you probably do.
Much more than me.
Much more. I mean, Golden State got a couple over there that's not too bad. It's the dark-skinned brother that be getting them in trouble. But now
I call that their spiritual leader. That's what
now
I
I
call
digress. Now I digress. But I don't know. Tatum, I bet I didn't put no money on it.
You ain't put no money on him.
I didn't put no money on him.
See, that's why I did it. I set it up earlier, talk about the odds, talk about how strong the odds would be, the payout, because I wanted to get to this point and figure out whether or not you, in the midst of the club of light-skinned brothers, was going to put your money where your mouth is, and you ain't bet on your boy.
I did do it. I gotta, when I'm wrong, I gotta say I'm wrong. I don't know what stretch of basketball this is, but it says this can't be right. It's got to be like the first few games. Luka Doncic, I don't know what this is for, the playoffs or what it is, but it says Luka had 284 threes made, and the Joker only had 83. So that had to be like the first couple weeks of the season, right? Luka not shooting, games? Joker not shooting 1 3 a game, so that couldn't be possibly right.
A lot of games where he don't shoot any threes.
Really?
Yeah.
So I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, no, not really, because it comes down to percentages. I said that Luka's going to shoot more than.
Well, they're pretty close, but it's still, I guess, from a percentage standpoint, it's 0.359 for Joker and 0.382 for Luka.
Both 38 and 36% 3-point shooters is both really good. The European model wins again.
The clutch,
but don't try to sidetrack, man. You gotta give me your verdict on your light-skinned brother.
You're the only person I know that I go back to admit I'm wrong on some shit nobody's thinking about, and I get criticized for that.
My bad. You right. That's a good admission. Counselor fair. Good admission.
But anyway, as we were saying, I'm not gonna say Tatum's gonna choke. I just think I don't know. I just think Dallas is gonna beat them. I really just do. I just feel like they're gonna win. I don't even.
Can those two things exist together? Tatum doesn't choke. Yes. And Dallas wins it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think so,
because,
right?
Because if you see what these games are coming down to, it's my best two versus your best two.
But Boston's had the best record in the league, definitely in the East, but I think even in the league all year. All right. I know OKC made their run, Minnesota made their run, but I think Boston still had the best record, right? Because it was far
OKC
less
had the best record. They lost in the first round.
Say again.
OKC had the best record in the West.
Right.
Which is considered more tough, kind of proof by the fact that the 5th seed is in the championship. I would say that somewhat proves that the West is more competitive and tough, and they lost in the first round.
But so, I would also say there was much more parity in the West. There were far more catastrophic, negatively meaningful injuries in the East. But I also am left with looking at what's on paper.
Yeah.
Looking at what's on paper, Boston, with their two superstars, with a roster that was built this year to win, with a path that has been much smoother and direct towards this moment, and with the backing of Vegas, Boston is supposed to win. So if you're telling me you think Dallas is going to win, and also telling me they can do so without Tatum being considered a choke, I don't see those two things happening. He's got the better roster. He's got all the momentum. He's got the confidence of Vegas. The only way Dallas wins is if Tatum comes up short.
And well, I just think other people, here's the thing, again, they're still 5-on-5. So you're going to get down to a point where I think you can hear the narrative saying Tatum did this, but he needs help. These guys didn't step up. These guys didn't do what they're supposed to go do. I think he's got a good Robin on his team. I'm a big fan of his Robin. But, if the other guys don't show up and you start
like the dark-skinned brother with the last name Brown is what you're saying, huh?
He's the only one I like that fit that description. The only one. But I just think that he's, I think there's a chance that he can play well and everyone let him down. You throw it to somebody. I mean, I don't expect the games to be blowouts. They're going to come down to the last few minutes in plays. He hits somebody in a pass with a wide open three and he misses it. Dude, gets out rebounded there. You never know what happens. These games really are decided then. It's been some of the best playoffs, just as a basketball purist, I've seen in years.
Fair.
Because I say that because I'm not a fan of any of these teams specifically. And I'm still enjoying the hell out of it.
Can't turn it off. I agree with you. With you. Let's turn to the last piece of this before we move on. And the last piece of this is simply this. Does Kyrie get the last laugh? Kyrie was ostracized for retweeting something that people felt was anti-Semitic. And I say something that people felt was anti-Semitic because I haven't watched it. So I'm not
the Nets, though, right?
Say again.
That was with the Nets, though.
Yeah, but he was ostracized.
Or not the Nets. That's the Nets.
Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn. I think that's when he did it. But he was ostracized by the entire NBA. He was ostracized
by me too.
By me too.
By me too.
I'm pointing this shoe. He was ostracized by Nike. But he was smart enough to maintain his intellectual property, which was his logo.
That's a low, but I got to put
flat
it
Earth.
He did say the Earth is flat.
He did say the Earth is flat.
What's wrong with him?
Well, he was levitating when he said it.
Okay.
That makes it better. Okay. But does he get the last laugh?
That's why I think he's gonna win it. That's why I think he's gonna have an a Finals MVP type performance. He's showing so much been there, right? I don't know. Yesterday he had a couple slow moments, but then he just came in. He's so deadly to me. Like honestly, I wanted to dislike Kyrie. I felt like he was doing too much. I wanted to kind of dislike him. Man, he's good. His finish is so strong. His three is so mean. Can't be guarded. He does so many things right. I think when this playoffs, he's been there before. When this series comes out there, he's the only one. Let me not say that. Is he the only one on the court that's won a championship of significance?
Starter. He's probably the only starter. Let me think. Drew Holiday didn't win.
Drew Holiday. Yeah, he's won.
He won one in Minnesota. In Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yeah. Drew Holiday won.
Drew Holiday won.
I don't think he holds the same level of him good, but he doesn't hold the same level of prominence on the team roster as Kyrie, But he significantly has won a championship, and that'll show. That'll help, especially considering he's a role guy. You know what I mean?
So direct question. I asked the audience this too, and I'll pause and say, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. Won't cost you anything. Tag somebody that's been talking about it in a barbershop, been talking about it in a beauty salon, been talking about it at the water cooler at your job, been talking about it in your group chat. Tag somebody. It'll help us, and it don't cost you nothing. But I ask you and the audience this question. When it comes to the case of Kyrie, he was vilified. He was put on the stand. He was considered anti-Semitic. He was considered a locker room cancer. He was considered all things bad when it comes to what we want in our superstars. When it comes to the case of Kyrie, is he guilty as charged? Is he all those things? And maybe take out anti-Semitic. We don't know that. Is he a locker room cancer? Should he have been ostracized? Was Nike right to move on and then put their faith in John Morant? Or is he not guilty? He was a guy that took all the brunt for the cancerous locker room guy in Boston, but it's taken them a long time to get right, including 2 iterations of a coach, young black coaches, and superstars trying to figure out how to be superstars and then building a much better roster post-Kyrie. He was the poster child for everything wrong when it came to the big 3 in Brooklyn. And you go on to see what, I don't know if it was Harden. I don't know if it was KD. We all just assumed and accepted that it was Kyrie. Is he guilty or not guilty of the things that he has been charged with? Or is his legacy going to be different because of how selfless he has played? Because he played Robin? Because if they win it, he's got to have MVP moments, if not win the MVP. Is his legacy ever going to be changed, or is he guilty as charged? What say you?
I say he's going to ball the hell out. If they lose, it's not going to be because of him. He's going to leave it all on the court. And I'm pulling for him. I don't even know. I didn't want him to win this last series, but now that he won it, I'd like to see him win. I don't like Boston. I hate the city of Boston. So, I don't know. I'm pulling for him now. Why not? It's a good story, right?
It's a good story for some, but in this political climate, in this era of racism uncovered, in all walks of life, you got this new lawsuit. This is my ball spotlight moment. I was talking about it now. American Airlines is being sued by 8 brothers who were escorted off of the plane. A flight
they were musty.
Allegedly. A flight from Phoenix to New York. They escorted, they aren't traveling together, but there's 8 different black men that American Airlines escorts off the plane, takes them to customer service. After an hour of back and forth, and they realize that that's the last flight to New York. They put them back on the plane, embarrassed and accused of being musty.
Which one of y'all is musty?
Which one of y'all funky? But I don't know how American Airlines.
How musty do you have to be that it's an indictment of all brothers?
All brothers. All black men got a stack.
Somebody, the story behind the story, one of y'all needs y'all ass whooped.
Somebody didn't watch.
So bad that every black person on this plane needs to come off. But they knew they were going to get sued, and they didn't give a shit.
Let's even say 2 of them was musty. That means that
maybe they was opposite ends, and the must met in the middle. I just think there's a certain level of guilt. One of them dudes don't deserve the lawsuit. One of them dudes deserves to be.
The crazy part is, and Maya points it out, is they didn't even know each other. So imagine being escorted off, and you look at, man, there's a trend here.
And it was like that.
Right. But my point is this: as American Airlines, as American as it can be to be called American Airlines, is as American as it can be to see racism put right in your face. In this America, Kyrie being in a position to go play in Boston, a city that has also been accused of being a pretty racist city, is going to be must-see TV for all the right reasons, basketball, but also all the wrong reasons. There's going to be a lot of hate perpetuated in this series, and we're going to see whether or not Kyrie gets the last laugh. Do you think he does?
Yes, sir.
I know you hope he does. Do you think he does?
Yeah, I got $50 on it. I got $150 on it.
Y'all let me know what you think. Does Kyrie get the last laugh? And Boston falls short yet again. Yeah. We shall see. I did want to make sure that we got one thing in before we got out of here. We're going to get to Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. There's some cheating going on. There was some cheating going on. allegedly, but not allegedly. Let me make sure I get this. All right. And I wanted to make sure that we got to one thing. First, I got to get to two things. Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is going to cover the Chicago Bears. I think there's a team in the NFL. I think they play around the city of Chicago.
On or about.
I'm trying to look them up. I think that's the case. It's whoever they might
had
be.
The biggest Super Bowl win in history of the NFL. One of those type
Every
teams.
time we go talk about like that. Somebody from the 1970s gonna start talking about 1985.
Mid 80s. Yep, get it right. Mid 80s.
It was 85 when it happened, but you had to be born in the 70s to remember it.
Well, hey, unless you're gifted, and you gifted with photogenic memories. You know, so, I used to have a rule: I didn't drink with anybody who wasn't alive when the Bears won the Super Bowl. But that's too many people. There's 21.
A lot of people now, my brother. There's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
There's limited.
I had a rule like that for a while.
So Hard Knocks goes there. They're gonna capture Caleb. What's the guy named Caleb Williams and the Bears. And I ask you, Mr. Bears fan, when it comes to the case of Caleb Williams, when it comes to the case of Chicago Bears, who ain't won nothing since I don't know when, are they guilty as charged? A perennial bad team that went and basically traded away what could have been their future in Justin Fields because they wanted a rush process to microwave it to a championship. They went and got a Heisman winner who likes to paint his nails and cry in his mom's womb or in her bosom.
Breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding. When it comes to the case of the Chicago Bears, are they a phony? Are they a fake? Is Hard Knocks going to be on scene to provide the evidence that we need just how bad the franchise is? What say you?
I'm nervous. I'm nervouser than a mug, boy. I don't know if you need to see some of this shit we do because I think we're a really bad franchise. One of the worst, considering the market we're in, the head start we've had. I mean, we're the forefathers of sports, right? I mean, the Bears been here. We got some history and all that stuff, and we're bad. I mean, like we had one remarkable season. The next time we make the Super Bowl, we fired a coach because he's 10-6 the next year. We decided that's not good enough.
You fired the black coach. That's because you and Boston going neck and neck with that decision.
Yeah, but that type of bullshit we doing. And we just been trash after trash after trash. We got rid of Fields. I think Fields was one of the most electric guys in the NFL. You had him on your fantasy team. He was giving you big points for a while, right? And
but
so
that's not how franchises look at their productivity. To be fair,
so there's the only argument that I give him. The only argument I give him is they think that your man's will be at least as good as Fields, if not better.
I'll be sure is what I call him.
I'll be sure.
I think they call him Caleb.
And so I think they're saying that they give you a reset because Fields had to get a second contract coming up, and he wasn't ready for that. So they said you get him a
he was 2 years away from a next contract.
I'm trying to tell you what they're saying. I'm trying to, man, cope. When you go to counseling, sometimes you got to do things you don't necessarily believe in, but you got to leave it to the professionals. So the professionals said,
stick to the talking points.
Go back to the rookie deal to get themselves more time on this rebuild. My argument would be, okay, you had to pay him a little bread, but you could have got the first pick of the draft. You could have switched that back, got 2, carried to 6. Y'all could have had 3 first rounders. And we would have been better. I love the receiver that they got. I think that's a great receiver. I didn't think it was Marvin Harrison or bust like everybody else, but shit, you could have got both of them.
And I think that would have probably helped Justin Fields to succeed.
Justin Fields not sorry. I don't know why I be back like he's sorry. He got a couple bad picks in there. Okay. They just benched your boy Caleb because they thought he threw like 7 picks in practice, which they turned out to be a lie. But that sounds like a lot. How bad did you do? How musty do you have to be that all 80 of them kicked off the plane? That's what I'm saying. How musty did the one dude have to be?
Whoever the real violator was, man, shouldn't be in a lawsuit. Like, you really was funky.
Yeah, he's a defender. So how many picks did he have to throw for somebody to say it looked like he threw 7 in a row? So I'm saying, like, he's still a rookie. He's going to come out here, and I don't like him, man. I don't like him. I'm not a fan, but we're going to see. America's going to find out. Hopefully this show make me fall in love.
Look, Hard Knocks, I think, did wonders for certain
no Diddy
franchises.
But hopefully this make me fall in love when I watch this show. No Diddy.
Hard Knocks did wonderful things for certain franchises and certain players within those franchises. The Dolphins.
Every franchise I've watched Hard Knocks.
Some people get exposed.
I feel like every time, even back with the Bengals when they was trash, every time I watch a Hard Knocks, I kind of like the team a little bit. I think
Detroit was the best, like, springboard from Hard Knocks.
Even with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, I kind of found myself rooting for them, looking for some stuff. I think Hard Knocks does great for the team, but I think some of our dysfunction could come out. I'm just so worried how Caleb's going to act. He's too much into himself, man. Don't come out there with no damn dress on, man. Don't do that, man. It's Chicago. Don't do that shit, man. Bring your hoodie.
Tough.
A hoodie and Tim's. A hoodie and Tim's, or don't come.
The toughest thing y'all got going on is the weather, man. Y'all not tough. Let that man wear his dress if he want to wear his dress. Let him paint his nails.
Hey, sounds good for New Jersey. Sounds good for New Jersey. I bet you won't say that noise if I bring you to Chicago. I bet when I pick you up and tell you to meet me somewhere, and you gonna say, "Well, hey, Reg, come pick me up." You're not gonna be all that toughness. Chicago not a soft city.
I'm gonna hit you before I even land. Let you know what time. Be there. I don't want no confusion.
We in the final approach, Reg. Be at the airport. Be at baggage claim, dog. Park the car.
I just talked to him. I just talked to him. I know Chicago come with it. But having said that, the whole city seemed to take a step back from that tough, jagged edge approach and embrace this idea that Caleb Williams was going to take them to the next chapter of success when it comes to being a Chicago Bear. So how tough they were, they embraced this guy who no one at no point in our adult lives would describe him as tough. What you call Karl Anthony Towns?
Moisture. No Diddy.
You got to multiply that exponentially when you talk about Caleb Williams. So they embraced him. It's Hard Knocks going to show us a car crash happening.
I don't trust Caleb, man. I feel like he's going to try to make statements in this Hard Knock. I don't like that part of it. He's going to come out there, toes dead, nails, lip gloss. Stop. Come play football. I feel like he's going to embarrass us. I feel like he's going to embarrass us, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, it's hard to shed that type of reputation, baby, because we're going to associate everything in it. Now, for those...
Come on, Caleb. Tim's. I want you in Tim's every day. Tim's. That's all I want to see.
Because we want to make sure we protect people, keep them safe. I
want to see you in Crocs. I don't want none of that, man.
I don't care what messaging you take from Caleb Williams and Hard Knocks. Don't you take your ass to the South Side thinking shit sweet.
With that shit. Eating Harold's with your pink. Yeah. I'll fucking whoop you. I would show up. Tell Caleb, I would show up. You don't even try me. All I'm going to say is try me, Caleb. Try me. You don't know what I'm capable of. Don't disgrace my time.
Don't mess up the city, baby. Don't mess up the
city up, man. They picked you for the first pick, man. They made you a rich man.
The first pick of this NFL draft. They decided to go with Caleb Williams. So we shall see.
Your beer's on your phone, that damn pink phone case out of it. Caleb.
We shall see, man. We shall see. Caleb Williams, you are officially on the clock. Not when it comes to a draft pick, but the Hard Knocks. Because it's ticking down, baby. And you cannot hide from what it is that you are going to see. So, all right, let me make sure I get this on, man. Let me see, make sure I do it right. My man ETP is not here, so I got to do it, and we're going to do it like this, all right? Because we do want to get to something else. We got to get to something else, and that something else today is this amazing, seminal case.
Hit that triangle on the left.
I know. I got it. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do it next. All right, I'm ready.
10,
Y'all ready to hear this? Let's do it. Listen up.
Now to a major headline in the sports world and an update in the case that could reshape college athletics. The NCAA Board of Governors voting to approve terms of what is expected to be a multi-billion-dollar settlement in the class action antitrust lawsuit against the NCAA. The settlement is expected to include about $2.7 billion in back pay damages to former division.
Let's stop there. All right. $2.7 billion in back pay owed to former Division I athletes dating back to 2016. Future revenue sharing model. Hey. Now we gotta make some disclaimer about we didn't make the music or something, man. You know how these licensing people be. I like the music though. Future revenue sharing model between power conference schools and athletes. That was hard though. I did like the.
You like the cave? I just think I couldn't resist.
I like it. For whatever disclaimer we got to make, consider it made. Ain't our music. But it was jamming. So this is where we're at with it. Guilty is charged when it comes to this misconception that amateurism was fair, that the value of the education was a fair exchange in consideration of all the sacrifices that athletes made, the risk that they took with their body, the time that they committed, the balance that they had to strike in order to be successful. This misrepresentation that was a fair exchange has been debunked. Not only in 2024, but this settlement would be an acknowledgement that it has been a fantasy for years. The idea that exchange, which led to billions of dollars in the coffers of these NCAA institutions,
that's so much money coming back,
has been debunked. This idea that all of these institutions that heard beep, 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 those are construction vehicles, all of the development on the respective campuses, all of the arenas that have been sold out, all the economic impact on campus, off campus, the benefit that the institutions and the communities have so richly enjoyed on the backs of athletes has finally been debunked. And on this day, in this episode, guilty as charged, it seems as though we are accepting, look at it one more time, we are accepting the NCAA and its institutions and this theory that has loomed forever, that it's a fair exchange to give you a, air quote, free education, and the value thereto being fair compensation for all that you provide, the revenue streams that you help create. Guilty is charged, and not only guilty, but there needs to be some get back, some payback,
get back,
some revenge.
Add me up. I just want to calculate. I want to calculate how that goes back. So they say 90% of that money is going to go to football and basketball,
right?
Basically on the revenue that they brought in and the money they passed. I think there's people like. So the question I'm going to have is: so this thing they're going to start paying people in 2025. The schools are allowed to pay $22 million at their discretion, which is kind of interesting how that's going to work out at their discretion or not, because that begs to and it puts in question if there's $2.7 billion in damages, how can it be discretionary as to whether or not the schools decide that they want to pay? That's weird. But I think that there's going to a lot of changes that are come with that. So my first question is going to be, how does it where does the bulk of the money go? Does it get weighted in the older years or the newer years? Because now there's people who've been able to get paid now, theoretically, from the schools that haven't been, or from the NIL that haven't been paid. So people who played last year, will they get money? Or is it going to just go from pre-NIL, or how it's going to go? So those are the kind of questions that are going to be there. The money is supposed to be coming from the NCAA, which I like that. So you're not going to put the burden on the school right away. And then the NCAA is going to try to get money back from the schools, but then they can spend the time in the years that's going to take to recoup and figure out and cut deals and see who should pay what and who should pay more, blah, 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 blah. But that money will come out of the coffers of the NCAA. I think that's a great idea. How they decide how to divvy that up, long as my son gets some money, I'm straight. I don't care the rest of it. I don't give a damn. The rest of y'all get your bread. Nah. But they got to figure out how they're going to divvy that up. But going forward, it's going to be really interesting now with the schools being able to pay. Because if they do allow schools not to pay and say you get to opt in, we're going to be in a 2-conference league in a year. You know what I mean?
Paid and non-paid.
Paid and non-paid. And then it's just going to be 2 different levels of doing it, which could be okay. Huh?
Is this what we have been essentially heading towards for a while now? I mean, we've talked about on the show, I thought that the NIL, while a good start, was punting or kicking the can down the road for what was really the question that we should be asking.
Yeah.
This lawsuit addresses the question that we should be asking.
Yeah.
Is that why would the institutions that are benefiting the most from the sacrifice that student athletes are making and have made, why are those institutions not responsible for some compensation? And then more broadly, the NCAA, which is the governing body of those institutions, call it the parent company, if you will. Why is NCAA not responsible for some of that compensation? Third-party payers, whatever brand decides to sign you on an NIL deal, God bless them. I believe in free market economy. God bless them if they want to sign Reggie Farima Jr. for an NIL deal. God bless them. But it never addressed the elephant in the room. This lawsuit does. Do we think this is a long time coming? And I asked the audience that. Those who are watching live, weigh in. And where do we see this going from here? Does the NCAA exist? NCAA has been putting out all of these commercials talking about the additional value proposition and how they've extended the benefits that they provide to student athletes. They say when you explain it, you're losing. The NCAA doesn't exist in 3 to 10 years from now.
I think the NCAA is finding a way to stick around. I was told this a long time ago by an AD that went to Notre Dame that you probably know. I'm not going to mention his name. But he said to me, this whole NIL thing was just a way to avoid this, what's going on, or to prolong this and push this off a couple of years. The reason why they just said, fuck it, NIL, go. Hoping that would somehow fix itself and just fix the problem and everyone would be happy. And the shell game that they started creating with that and people, looking around and all that was a smoke. But I'm going to take my hat off to whoever's in charge right now, that once this thing got some steam, we've been moving really quick. We don't go 6 months without a major clip in everything that's going on. Not every decision's been flawless. They also put in place now that you can transfer and get the years back. So now they're going to give more 10 years back to these kids. That frustration you're hearing is from a man whose son wasn't here during COVID and didn't transfer and didn't do whatever. Now he's got more people to compete with when he comes out and plays because now they're going to give years back. I wonder if you're out of school, how far they're going to go back to give you your year back. Like if you've been working for a couple of years, could you come back and get that year? I don't know how that's going to work.
I've been working all lately. I'll go get me 1 year.
I've been getting right.
I go get me 1 more year.
I got
hurt
2
my
left.
wrist that 1 year and then play a few games. Give me 1 more year,
I got
coach.
2 left. I can go back, see what I can go do, get my little master's or something. But yeah, so there's a lot of people out there that are going to get some years back. I shouldn't say a lot. There should be a limited amount of people that get some years back from that. There's a lot of movement, and I would just say that once this thing came up, the revolution didn't take 15 years. It's been like 2 or 3. I mean, when my son,
doesn't that mean because nobody like the NIL thing kicking the can down the road? Okay, but while I respect that, giving them credit for the speed in which this is happening, I also fault them for it because the speed in which it's happening, I think, is also a reflection of the elephant in the room. Nobody at any point in time with a straight face, if you put them on a polygraph, it would have gone crazy. It with a straight face that said, no, I believe that that's a fair trade to get an education and that is a fair compensation for the sacrifices that these student athletes have made. That's a lie. It's been a lie. We've known this. I was lying in our era when the money was significantly smaller.
It was tiny back then.
It's been a much bigger lie every year that the pool of money has increased.
I think the nail in the coffin was the Big Ten contract. When the schools went from getting $54 million to $100 million in 1 year difference, you can't. It's like if I get
100% increase.
damn near 100% increase overnight, and there's no added expenses, no requirements from the schools to do anything with it. Hold on, man. Hold on. Before we start divvying that shit up to the science department and do all this shit, you just got an extra $45 million for zero investment. Man, stop telling me you can't afford to pay the kids. Your cost didn't go up. You weren't running in the red this whole time. So stop telling me that bullshit about
and the leverage that became even clearer when it comes to the TV rights.
Yep.
All of the jockeying between who's in this conference and that conference was a spotlight on just how big the business is, a spotlight on just how much leverage some of these institutions have. And they didn't have that leverage because of, like you say, the science department. USC's got that leverage because they have little light-skinned, nail-painted Caleb Williams over there winning a damn Heisman. They got Bronny James and Juju Watkins making everybody come to basketball games. That's why they had the leverage. And the more that became clear, the more we got to this point. And so I agree with you. Yes, it has moved fast, but I don't know whether to take my hat off or challenge somebody to go in the room and whoop their ass that it took this long to just be honest.
The same person that made it take this long isn't the same person that made it move fast.
Fair.
Emmett was the dude who's out of there. He's taking forever. He backed the hell up out of there. I don't know who to credit. I don't know who deserves the credit, but I know that at some point this thing is starting to move along. Maybe that goes to the government, the legal system. I don't know what it is, but they're fast tracking this thing. I wish they was going to start the payments this fall. You know what I'm saying? Because we're a little short over here. But hey, we're going to start next year, see what's going to go on, But if you think about it,
I just want to know why they ain't back paid all the way back to our day. 2016 ain't going to get us paid nothing, brother. I'm still a good 20 years short on that.
You didn't get a couple snaps in 2016?
Nah, I ain't getting nothing.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but just as long as you get a little some of that bread, somebody got to get something. Everybody got to get some money, man. Give me a little bit of bread.
You mentioned it, so I want to make sure I allude to it because this is the day of where the docket is full. And the NCAA and the Coalition of States suing the organization announced a proposed settlement. And, this just happened yesterday. And that proposed settlement, like you talked about, really basically says that we were wrong by putting limitations on or restrictions on how kids could transfer and whether or not they had to sit out a year, and they're going to back pay or reward that year of eligibility back. And you combine these two things, man, it's an entire different landscape. But that part of it, right, as a youth coach, trying to corral players to come back to my team and see, like, the options are unlimited. And even here, you can transfer anytime, for any reason, under any circumstance, to any damn team, basically, with no restrictions. And based on this settlement and this West Virginia case and some of the legal verbiage within, we are now considering that and I hate to say this word when we talk about young people, but it applies here. We're considering that your right to transfer. And Gen Z, when they know something is categorically defined as a right, they're going to exercise their damn right. Yeah, so the transfer portal is going to be popping even more.
I'm going to say this, though. And I've been looking at this and thinking about this, and it's close to me, and people I know are in all stages of this going on. You look at affirmative action, right? And yes, I'm going there. Affirmative action was supposed to benefit minorities, right? Initially, Black people and women, right? But really, affirmative action has benefited women and by sheer number, white people more than
Yes.
anyone else. I worked for
Especially
a minority.
when it comes to college admissions, absolutely.
They
and
found
other
ways
programs.
to work system, whatever. I worked for a firm that was a minority-owned firm that had minority-owned contracts, and I swear I was one of 2 or 3 black people that worked in the whole company, right? And the people who were probably vote against all that kind of stuff benefited every day. So that's just one little example. I won't name the name of the company I work for, but when you go back to this situation with this transfer portal, and you talk about how much it's helping the players, take a step back. Let's look at the knowledge, right? It's kind of curious because I keep seeing all these kids getting these scholarships right here from my hometown, or the town I live in now. All these kids getting the same offers, bigger offers than I saw before, bigger stuff coming out of here doing whatever. And what I realize is, first of all, kids are getting put in that portal as often or more often than they're just jumping in the portal, right?
Fair. Oh, so you're saying that this has benefited the institutions more than the players?
It's benefited by far. Now let's all look at this. 40% of the kids that get in the portal never come out of the portal and never play football again or sports again. 40%, right? So because I'm wondering, why are all these high school kids still getting offers? Because in my mind, I'm thinking eventually it's going to kill this high school kid. They're going to get squeezed out. You're gonna hear the stories about the programs that are primarily going into the portal for their players, right? Mm-hmm. The Colorados of the world do whatever. They're only offering a couple high school kids. Those are few and far between, right?
Alabama's basketball team reloaded with all transfers.
You're going to get a couple of those, and we can find those stories, but let's look at the rest of the people in that conference. They're still getting high school kids. What happens is, for the first time ever, you're able to purge 40% of the people who are out of the system. So you're getting kids who can't play football very well that get in there. Let's just use football because I don't want to go over every sport. You get kids that can't play football very well that enter the transfer portal. And some are great. Some guys are graduating, moving up. Those guys are getting picked up quick. Boom, 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 boom. Schools benefiting, right? The lower level schools getting hurt. The upper level schools. I'm hearing about D2 guys coming up to Michigan. D2 guys coming to this school. FCS guys coming up to this school. People, boom. So they're plucking. The top school's plucking. You had faith in them. You developed them. You proved you could play on this level.
Ivy League guys are
Ivy League. We're taking them. Boom. I got him. He's coming over here with me now, right? So we got him. And we're purging the guys that we don't want. Now, 60% of those guys are ending up somewhere. I got a couple kids that we've known that played for U of I. Things didn't work out. Some people were put in the portal. Some people, whatever, whoever their story is, none of my business, doesn't matter. They landed. They went to different schools. They got right sized. They landed on their feet. They're going to get an education. They're going to get a chance to play and do whatever. But it's some of these kids that are leaving this portal and they're never playing again. So now you have this void. So however many of the total number of players are, if 40% never play again, where are you going to get those kids from? The only other place to get them from is high school.
I agree.
The math ain't mathing. Because right now you have a full roster of 85 scholarships for D1 and however it goes down. If 40% of those leave and never come back, that's a big-ass number. You got to go get that from somewhere. So I think some of these high school kids are actually going to get more opportunity than I thought, as opposed to less, which is what I have been saying the whole time. There's going to be less opportunity. I think from sheer number, it's going to be more opportunity.
I respect you analyzing it from the unintended consequence. I'm assuming that was the unintended consequence for the institutions to be the ones that are taking advantage of the options that athletes have. I would just challenge you by saying, I think the mentality, the widely accepted mentality that having options is a good thing, going in the transfer portal as a right and maintaining your eligibility is a reflection of your rights being protected. I think the whole idea and the theory, the concept is the problem. The unintended consequence is sort of this unintended beneficiary are the institutions. But I'm going to go deeper and say the concept itself is really the problem, because most institutions, and I would imagine this, my sons aren't in college yet, but I imagine most institutions are coming to people that they think are disgruntled, that they think are unhappy, and presenting them with it, not forcing them into the portal. And because this theory exists out there, a lot of these athletes fall for it. Whereas their focus should be on, let me graduate. And I could be wrong. I mean, maybe there are people being
Depends
pushed
on
in
the
the portal.
institution.
I know there have been schools that have been accused of being very aggressive and suggesting that kids get in the portal. But I think a lot of athletes voluntarily go to the portal because this whole concept is not just restricted to college. I talked about it at the youth level. It's if it ain't working for me right now, I gotta go. And we'll see, man. I think there's going to be a whole case study about this era of sport and how the non-committal attitude of any athlete and their parents led to some. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like there's a whole undermining of what we consider commitment going on. And people at the sideline just celebrating it, not thinking about 20 years from now, that same student athlete can't commit to anything, a family, a job, a cause, and anything, because we're programming them to be non-committal. That's my challenge with it.
That's true. I mean, in the end of the day, they're going to lose with some of that behavior and just kind of the way it is, job jumping and not being able to last anywhere. I've heard about people hiring now and they hire someone, they just don't even show up for the first day of work. Quitting is easy and ghosting is easy. And a lot of these things we're not making them face the things. The fact that when you get in the portal, you never had to face the coaches. All you had to do is call the compliance thing and put it in there. And the coaches find out when the world finds out when you're in the portal.
Crazy.
I just think that we're making things too easy for people to not have tough conversations as kids. And that's a whole different bag of worms there. But I don't know. It's interesting.
And with this settlement, making it easy because you get there and there's no penalty of any sort.
Yep.
No loss of eligibility.
Yep.
Like at some point, the adults in the room have to adult. And I just feel like that's my biggest issue with it. But you make a very fair
schools
point.
also win there too, because do you want to scholarship a kid that you can't play for you right away? Now they're making it seem like you could transfer on Tuesday and play on Thursday. I mean, that's the situation that's going to start getting ugly. Is can people transfer mid-season now? Is this where it's going to go? So we don't know where it's going to stop there.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
One part of the settlement thing, which is interesting, is they're thinking about getting rid of the walk-ons on the football program. That's on the table right now. Is just to keep it to the 85 scholarships and no more. And I mean, it's weird because you argue a couple ways. All right, there's 52 people on an NFL roster, and they find a way to make it work for 18 games.
53, man. I feel like that was personal. That was personal. It ain't 52 and 53. I was the one dude that was
hey, if it makes you feel better, I was 55. If it makes you feel better.
I'll take that. All right, that made me feel good.
So
misery love company. I'm 52. You know how hard it was to be that 53rd?
53, yeah. So at the 53-man roster can work for the NFL plus practice squad, which gives you another what?
It used to be 5. I think they've increased it to 15.
Okay, so we're nowhere near 85. Then it's kind of hard to argue that 85 isn't going to be enough for a college football team. But the 130 number that they want to have is there. But I think it's bad to get rid of walk-ons because there's way too many success stories about walk-ons turning into scholarship people.
Fair.
Way too many. And I just think, why would you limit that? Like, where are you limiting? Who's behind that? That's the thing. I was like, who's behind saying let's limit that and do something different? You're almost better off limiting the scholarships and saying,
and then creating like a hybrid. Well, they got it. The preferred walk-on is like the hybrid where they're getting money.
You get absolutely nothing.
I thought preferred walk-ons get some money. No,
they just tell you just get to come during camp. You get, you go through it. The other walk-ons usually walk on in the spring. A preferred walk-on is going to show up there when everyone shows up.
Okay.
And they're going to do whatever because you're part of that. I want you. You're coming, and they help. And preferred walk-ons, they help you get into school. If you're a regular walk-on, you just got into school, happen to be there, and you happen to go up for the team. But a preferred walk-on,
but the preferred description has nothing to do with monetary assistance.
It's really about admittance. You get a preferred walk-on, he gets into your school with the same ease as a scholarship kid in somewhat. Like at Northwestern, you had to be a better student to be a preferred walk-on than you would have to be a scholarship guy. Right. To be a scholarship guy. Like standards are a little higher for preferred walk-on.
I got you.
But you still don't have to be true Northwestern quality to get in.
Valedictorian and
you don't need to be all that. But you need to be better. It's harder to get you in. But they get some guys like that.
Got it. Interesting stuff, man. I think it was important for us to handle it in this particular episode because we're talking about all these other processes where there's adjudication. And I think long term, we'll see how these respective cases, the payout and the new approach to being able to transfer, we'll see how it impacts college sports. Let's get on quickly to the last two things, man, because I want to make sure I get to these before we get out of here. The first one is it was interesting to me that, you know, we talked about Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. And when we did so, we talked about it in a way that was, I thought, pretty interesting when it came to what happened. There are two samples. One that they take on the day of the fight, and one that they do on the day before the fight. And both samples, there were traces of, and I'll mess up the drug, there are traces of a banned substance. And so there's a lot of conversation about what they knew and what they did, they being the Ryan Garcia camp, how it impacted the fight. Ryan Garcia had already missed the weight by 3.2 pounds or whatever the case might be.
To the belt.
So it was not a situation where, let me make sure I got this. It was not a situation where, let me make sure I share this, sorry. Where he could even get the belt. One of the belts he couldn't even get because of the clause in there where he missed the weight. We've talked about it ad nauseum when it comes to cheating in college. As your counselor, I don't want you to admit a thing here, but there have been several generations of people that have found themselves being creative. Before Chat GSPT, whatever it's called.
Chat LMOTPQRS.
Yeah, I can. Before that, I know y'all ain't gonna believe us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You know, some people would go to Kinko's. Kinko's don't even exist anymore. They would minimize stuff real small. They put it in their form. They would do a whole bunch of things in order to get an advantage. And in football, whether it be Spygate or Deflategate or fill in the blank with any example of how coaches and front offices have tried to use incremental advantages to help them on game day. We've all said that if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Do you have issue with this Ryan Garcia thing? And I'm going to make sure I play this interview of Devin Haney because, you know, when it comes to this boxing, you don't get too many fights that are going to be career-defining. This was a career-defining fight that was a moment for Ryan Garcia that, unfortunately, he squandered.
I guess my problem is, you know, they talk about, you know, my friend wants to say steroids can't give you talent. He isn't even accused of being on steroids. He's accused of being something that there's trace amounts, a certain amount effect, blah, 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 blah. So technically he's broke the rules, but Haney's interview that you're going to play right now.
And it's strict liability. When it comes to anti-doping, it's strict liability, meaning, I'll put this on now, meaning when it comes to the doping part of this, right, it doesn't matter if you knew or you didn't know. When it comes to
everything in your system.
Say again.
You're responsible for everything.
You're responsible for whatever is in your system. And so let's play what happens. Get this right. Let's play what happened in response to the failed test. This is Devin Haney.
Assurances would you need if there was interest in doing this fight?
I don't know. We have to see down the line. But as of right now, it wouldn't be a fight that I would really entertain. You know, like I said, this guy showed his character. He showed that he would do anything to win, including cheat. Mm-hmm. And that's just reality. A guy that would do anything to win, You know, this is a sport at the end of the day. Boxing is just a sport. You know, we put our lives on the line. So, you know, he put my life in jeopardy. So now it's deeper than boxing with me. I don't even want to. I want to take this thing somewhere else now because it's like I said, he could have did some real dangerous things to me that night.
When it comes to the case of Ryan Garcia, all right, because the truth of the matter is he got dropped 3 times. When it comes to the case of Ryan Garcia, it's strict liability, meaning that he's responsible for everything that was in his system. He disclosed on a sheet 2 supplements, and so that process is underway. Let's look at Devin Haney. After you look at that interview, when it comes to Devin Haney, do you buy what he's saying, that that's the reason he wouldn't fight him again? Or do you hear somebody afraid to step in that ring? He's talking about he put his life in jeopardy and he's just offended. The first time he didn't never say the word, but I think that's where he was trying to get to, that a boxer deciding who he fights based on principle. Normally it's based on price tag. It's based on pay-per-view numbers. It's based on where you are on the contender list. He made it about principle. Do you think Devin Haney is true to his word, or in this case, guilty as charged of being full of shit and scared as hell?
Moist. Look, if you beat me and you any killer, right? Any killer out there, if you beat me and you cheated, I'm standing up during the whole interview saying, "Yeah, you had to cheat to beat me. You couldn't beat me. Let's do this again. Woo! I beat the hell out of you this time. We're gonna drug test you, get your ass clean that shit out of your system. I'm gonna beat the hell out of you in the center of that ring. Blah 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 blah.
I'm gonna beat you for cheating, right?
Beat your ass. Well, make your ass. You had to cheat. You were scared. You knew you couldn't beat me. That's the woofing I was looking for. He's like, I don't know, man. He put my life in danger. The dude took a couple extra scoops of creatine, and now suddenly he put your life in danger. Dude, come on, man. It wasn't like he got caught with HGH steroid type shit. He got caught with some stuff you could buy at GNC. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, B. I ain't no offense, but there's nothing at GNC that can make you whoop me. I'll beat your ass no matter.
I was just thinking that too. I was like, I'll beat your ass.
I'll beat the shit out of you. And you go to GNC and buy all that shit, man. You're not gonna just whoop me because you went to GNC. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't know what I'm about GNC. You know
I'll never fight him again. It's about principle. Nah, you don't want to. You're gonna get this disqualification, get your little bread difference, whatever, and you're gonna keep it moving because he lets you know he could get to your chin whenever he wants to.
He dropped him 3 times, man. Devin Haney, I wanted to be on your side. I really did. But that interview, man, that looks like Exhibit A, Your Honor. This man's scared. This man's scared. I'm talking about real scared.
Put my life in danger. Over some GNC type shit.
Yeah, he couldn't even say it.
So what you're saying is assault with a deadly weapon. He took some vitamins.
Man,
he took some vitamins he wasn't supposed to take. That make this assault with a deadly weapon. I want him arrested. I want to prosecute it. That's a gun. He swallowed a gun and a switchblade at GNC. That's what you're telling me.
In my neighborhood, this has just been a telltale sign of somebody lying. You start blinking and trying to come up with words you don't normally use. He was lying his ass off. He don't want no parts of Ryan Garcia. Leave that man where he at.
No smoke. I don't want smoke, man. I don't do what my Did y'all see what he did to me? I don't want that smoke again. Now I have an excuse.
Let's get out of here with this before we get to what is the elephant in the room in terms of yesterday's court proceedings. On the court, there's some WNBA action. And Angel Reese made a comment after the last game, essentially saying, yeah, we're able to get the win. Imagine that team win despite not having one player that generates chartered flights. It has been assumed that she was alluding to Caitlin Clark. They get to play one another for the first time as WNBA players. Caitlin Clark, while her team, Indiana Fever, has struggled mightily when it comes to wins and losses, she has been sort of checking the boxes when it comes to statistical output.
All but one.
And the one is dubs.
No, turnovers.
Oh, turnovers. Yeah, but she got the ball a lot. Yeah. I mean, even if she got a lot of them, but those not, you don't want a lot in that statistical category.
Plenty. She's got plenty.
She got plenty of turnovers. Do you think that this is the moment that we've been waiting for? There has been some WNBA players, Stewie being one of them, that have gone out and said that they're going to start a 3-on-3 league in the winter. ETP's not here, but I want to call him Nostradamus when it comes to saying what could be an opportunity from a business standpoint for 3-on-3 basketball. Obviously, the big three, Ice Cube's big three, offered Caitlin Clark $5 million, which she turned down. Kudos to the WNBA, current WNBA players that have found from an investment standpoint the opportunity in going through this 3-on-3 basketball in the winter. Having said that, where are we at with the WNBA? The Caitlin Clark momentum has got us to this point. Viewership is up significantly. Ticket sales up significantly. And while Caitlin Clark isn't getting a lot of wins, she's doing enough to garner more eyes. Where are we at the WNBA state of affairs? Are they guilty as charged? A boring league that doesn't understand how to really feature their stars, including Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, and so many others? Or is it us, the Neanderthal fan that can't appreciate some good basketball and celebrate these young ladies for the athletic prowess that they display on a nightly basis?
I got two observations. One, I didn't know this because I've only seen bits and pieces of the WNBA this year. And Caitlin Clark, I try to catch her when I can, but life happens. First of all, she's leading the NBA's rookies in points, assists, and blocks. She's supposed to have been this best ever. Well, she's the first player to ever in league history to start with 150 points, 50 assists, and 10 blocks through the first 10 games. No one else has ever done it. And there's a lot of people who are stars. So she's doing what she's supposed to have been doing. She's not going to make them look like the college girls, but she's doing what she's doing better than the most. There's a very small amount of teams, WNBA, very concentration of talent. First rounders and second rounders get cut all the time in the WNBA because it's that elite of a club to get in. So that's what I'm saying. She's doing well. She got some hiccups and some bumps and some things going on, but she's doing well and overall, doing better than all the other rookies. Second thing I'm gonna say is, and look at me when I tell you this: if you're in the WNBA, let that girl shoot a little bit. Maybe don't foul her so hard because she got y'all private jets. She got y'all eyes.
They'd be biting the hand and feet.
She get y'all. Listen, look at me when I talk to you. She's trying to get y'all some gender equity type shit that's going on. Everybody knows it. But if you don't let this girl give us at least one 50-point game next year, ain't nobody talking to y'all. Okay? So you pay attention when I tell you. Let the girl shoot a little bit. They sorry. They're going to lose anyway.
They're going to lose anyway.
Let her eat. Let her eat. Tighten her up at the end of the game. But give ESPN some stuff. Give TNT. I don't know who else puts the games on. Get them some highlights.
Then you got True
okay?
TV.
You can get gangster in the fourth quarter. First 3 quarters, let her shoot. I'm just telling you. That's for me to you. Real talk. Okay.
Shooters gonna shoot.
Let her shoot the ball.
Hey, I gotta agree with you, man. And look, I was a detractor when it came to Caitlin Clark on the collegiate level because I was just like, it is what it is. We've seen this before in terms of women being dominant. There's something unique about her, and I don't know if what I consider unique, the average fan considers unique. So I wasn't a detractor. I wasn't a hater, but I was just like, she's fun to watch. She can shoot, but at the end of the day, she came up short. I gotta agree with you on this one because what I do like about boxing, what I think Devin Haney should have done, is taking full advantage of the controversy. And I think the WNBA, its players, should do the same. Take full advantage of the organic, natural controversy that is embedded in this little Midwest, very regular looking white young lady being the star in the face of every single basketball fan, no matter how much you like basketball or never watch it. Embrace it. take full advantage of that controversial thing, the momentum that is Caitlin Clark, and do so from a business approach. Let Caitlin eat. Get some shots up,
Just a
Caitlin.
little something.
Listen,
Let her make a plate every game. Let her make a plate.
yeah,
She don't have to go back for seconds and thirds every game. But if you see she's 10 points, 12 points, 13, all right, man, everybody, well, she needs to have a 40
chill out a
point
little
game.
bit, right? Just
Something.
look this way and let her cut back door.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want. Speaking of giving the people what they want, before we get out of here, Notre Dame is guilty as charged. We are the back-to-back NCAA lacrosse men's champions. That's right. Shout out to the Kavanaugh brothers, man. Guilty as charged. The one Kavanaugh brother leads as all-time leading scorer. He won every single award known to man in lacrosse. And now little bro came in. He did work.
Those do be facts.
Make me feel good, man. It's like I would love that. Imagine my sons going to go play together. From my mouth to God's ears. I'll give you last word, man. Anything before you get out of here? Guilty as charged. Episode's almost done. I'll give you final word.
Man. It's good to be back. I'm glad you guys stuck with us. We're almost at 2 hours today, man. We've got a lot of viewers watching. Appreciate the numbers. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the comments. Shout out to Maya. Appreciate you putting your comments out there today and everybody showing love, man. It's been fun. It's been great. Looking forward to a nice long summer. And that's all.
I'll go off with this because I know the guilty as charged title lured some people in. They thought we were going to talk about a man who was found guilty on all 34 counts for some hush money, allegedly. Not allegedly anymore. And I'm very happy to not talk about it. The truth of the matter is it'll galvanize his base and people will get out and feel as though somehow, some way he was mistreated. So that will encourage them to go vote and get other people to vote. It'll also make other people lazy, thinking that, man, he's a convicted felon. No way he'll get elected. Don't allow it to sway your vote. Remember that people died for your right to vote. That's as much as I want to say about the clown show that is. Other than that, I want to say have a great weekend. I'm going to go watch me some AAU basketball. Guilty as charged. I'm going to go be a sports dad. Pay attention to the things that matter most to you and your family because the sideshow and the circus ain't paying your bills. And with that, we is out. Peace.